we're doing?
We're going to Target. We're going to Walmart. We're going to
Road trip take 2.
Awesome. Yes. Welcome back to the Void City Reviews podcast. Field trip hits the road. Road trips.
Road trip.
So we're going to take a trip today. Going to ride around in this hot summer weather now that it's suddenly 90 degrees after being like snowing. But we're going to go to a Target store that Toast has not been to before. And then we're going to stop at the comic book store and visit Berg from Shock and Awe. Hopefully he's working today. Did you check on that?
He should be, but yesterday he dropped out so he could watch Doctor Strange.
Were we supposed to talk about that?
It's on his personal Facebook. That's on him.
Oh boy. Yeah, I guess that's true, maybe. So, we are on our way, guys. This ought to be fun. We fixed up the audio, so hopefully that'll work out this whole time because we each have a microphone. So in theory, you should mostly just hear us and not a bunch of background, because in our last road trip video, I actually recorded about 15 minutes of material driving to the mall from my work, and none of it could be used because all you could hear was the car driving on the road and nothing else. I was just talking about where we were going and why, and I was going to meet you over there, and how our schedules might change a little bit, so that's why videos might be a little bit slower, and blah, 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 and about how maybe I'll have to move, which has now turned into most definitely I will be moving in the next month and a half, 2 months or so in that area. Hopefully I have somewhere to move to. That is the concern right now. And then we will get a new studio set up. We will build a whole new set specifically for this purpose, and we will begin a whole new era of Void City reviews and customization and road trip, field trip, podcast things. Toast, you talk for a while. I should drive.
So, as of this recording, yesterday you were making some comments on one of our videos, and you talked about already packing. Is that true?
I have boxed up a lot of things, like most of my 2,000 DVD collection is boxed up, and that's why the studio, like the actual music studio that I have in my house that I build, I have a whole recording studio. I used to be in several bands. That's all been boxed up and filled with just junk now forever because I have to pack everything up, obviously. So, but the DVDs used to be where all my McFarlane figures are right now in the background of our current videos. And that's what all those shelves originally were for. So it'll be nice to set up something now that is specifically for those figures, so I can make the shelves a bit taller and have
something in mind.
What do you mean?
For shelving.
I imagine I'll probably do something again like I did before,
custom?
Where I just buy a bunch of wood and measure and custom throw it in there. I'll probably paint it this time first, like paint them all black, make them look nice. So it's not just a bare wall with brackets and stuff all over like it was in my basement. My only other thought is maybe I would just get several of those bookshelves like I have on the sides that I have some of my bigger figures in right now. And I could do those. That way I could have like deeper shelves and just line the whole wall with those things.
We're both planning on doing video tours of our setup.
Yes, which I will do obviously before I tear all that stuff down. That'll be one of the last things to get boxed up, is that kind of corner there. I'm about to stop at a gas station up here real quick, so there's going to be probably a little cut in this, although there should be some cuts already because editing. Because sometimes we're just sitting and driving, and that's not fun for you guys to watch, I don't think. And also, some of you might just be listening to this, and that would be even worse. So here's background of a car driving. All right, let's go buy some $5 gallon gasoline. We are back. That was painful. $4.89 now. Waiting for traffic, please drive faster. I have to be nice because I'm recording myself for a podcast. Can't use my true driving language.
Oh man. So I'm going back to the office now. They're making me.
Yeah.
And I'm driving
I'm sorry.
in twice a week. And just the commute. Like
Infuriating?
Yes. But just the yelling. Just me yelling at other drivers.
It's one thing I don't miss about getting to go to work at 3 in the morning is there's pretty much no one on the road. So it kind of stinks because you have to drive absolutely perfect because there's like all the police officers are out, and of course they're looking for anyone to do literally anything wrong at all. So You got to make sure you're on time, no speeding. But then you also get to see all the wackos out driving. So you're the only one driving right because you're the only one going to work. Everyone else is like getting out of the bar at last call. And then you get to see all the people that are like coming straight at you over the yellow line or in front of you that are going over the yellow line into oncoming, and you're thinking, uh-oh, like...
I forgot what it's like driving with you.
What do you mean? Oh, well, yeah. Shut up.
There you go.
I was waiting to get proper clearance from the stoplight. I tend to drive about as aggressive as I think my car can handle.
Okay.
And I'm in this itty bitty little Scion XD now.
At some point, I don't remember when this started, but roughly once a month, I go to dinner with my brother and sister, and we have learned that we all drive the same. And I think so you've driven with me plenty.
I have, and
I'm the calmest of the three.
that frightens and alarms me.
It should. So I've also received the least tickets.
You have received tickets?
Not in a long time.
I received one ticket ever. It was when I was 18 years old. Never again.
I think there were 2 accidents and 1 speeding.
I didn't say no accidents, but I didn't get a ticket for it. They wrote a report, but I didn't get a ticket because it wasn't my fault that my tire exploded. This was out in DeKalb at NIU University. If anyone is familiar with Illinois, there's this road out there. You've been out there, right?
Oh, yeah.
So you know Annie Glidden?
Yep.
If you had to go out to like the Wal-Mart or whatever, you always take that road, and there's that big curve after you go straight through the cornfields. There's that big giant curve, the S curve. And that road, the speed limit used to be like 50 miles an hour, like through that whole curve. And it's a pretty righteous curve. And I took that thing in my old Ford Taurus station wagon, and coming out of it right at the end of the curve, everything's going good. My front passenger side tire explodes. I don't mean like it popped. I mean that thing like blew apart. My car lurched into the gravel, and I overcompensated, ended up fishtailing several times, and then spun completely around in a 180, went across both lanes and down into the ditch into the cornfield. And somehow my car did not roll over. I still don't understand how, because the embankment was like a 45-degree angle. Like, my car should have rolled over, and it didn't. Yeah, that was nuts. A sign should have come right through the window. Somehow it didn't. It just dented the bejesus out of the door. Window didn't even get touched. I don't know how that happened. Let me just tell you, when people get in car accidents and they tell you that it seems like time slows down and the thing just happens like forever, and you're just stuck there like watching it happen around you, like, they are right, dude. That was wild and wacky stuff, man.
I'm pretty sure I was only in 1 accident with somebody else in the car, and all other accidents were alone.
It sucks to be in an accident, but I guess if you have to be in one, you'd hope it's by yourself. And no severe like injuries or nothing from them, right? Just car damage.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, we didn't get hurt. It was like the worst thing was the guy in the back seat. That's how I found out he had decided to opt out of wearing his seatbelt, was when he flopped from one side to the other and hit his head on the window. And he knocked the window out of its track, and it was a closed window. Like, the back window was closed, and he hit his head so hard, it knocked the window out of its track, but it didn't break the window, and somehow he was like, I'm good. And he went back to his dorm after we hoisted up the car, we put on the spare that I had in the back, because it's a station wagon. You open up the back, and there's like 1,000 things in there. There's tires and tools and all sorts of fun stuff. But yeah, and then a cop just happened to come by, a police officer, and he's like, everything okay? Like, what happened? I'm like, oh yeah, our tire blew out. Like, we just went down the hill, but we got it fixed. We're all good. We're just gonna drive up out of here. And he's like, well, yeah, but see, that door is all dented, and I can tell that's more than $500 damage. Plus, you knocked this sign down. So if there's more than $500 damage, or damage to like the property of like the county or whatever, I have to write up a report. Stay a ride down there if you're willing. I'm like, oh. Not that you should drive away from the scene of an accident, children. Or folks watching who are adults, because children shouldn't be watching this. Toast is shrugging for those people who are not watching us, the creeps.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Like, if I've never heard the $500 thing before. Maybe that's
It might have just been a DeKalb. I don't know if it was like a county or a town thing or whatever, but he said like because it was over a certain amount of damage to the car and because like a sign had been knocked down, like he had to do a report on it, especially because we were there still. And it was like, oh, okay, that's fine.
I think county property makes sense. But like I slipped on black ice. This is an accident. But I slipped on black ice. The car went up onto a curb. It knocked the fuck out of one of the wheels.
I was gonna say, so you had to have at least lost a wheel.
Well, I drove away.
How?
I don't know.
Was the wheel still on the car, or was it? So it was just like.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
It was kind of violently shaking at certain speeds, but lower than those speeds, it was fine.
All right. So I think we're back now. So hot outside that the camera overheated. Good times. All right. So hopefully the camera won't overheat this time. So Toast, you were talking about how you smashed your car from some black ice swerving into a curb and your wheel got all floppy doppy and somehow you drove away on this shenanigans.
Yeah, perhaps I shouldn't have.
Well, perhaps.
But I did.
But you did.
I did. Just up here, we can talk about one of my other accidents.
Oh, right up here?
It's around this curve. That's when I was driving, I think, Leah's dad's van. And I had to manually add brake fluid or oil? No, I don't remember which. There was a leak. And I had
While you were driving?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, how did that work?
Basically, before I drove the car, I had to manually add some fluid.
Every time?
Every time. There was a leak that just no one was going to fix. And there was a whole line of cars. I don't remember. I was pretty far back from whatever it started, but it was a series of dominoes. Probably 8 cars that all smashed each other.
You were in an 8-car accident? You were in a pileup?
It's right there.
You were in a pileup?
I was in a pileup, yes.
What? And you weren't hurt?
No.
Man, well, you were in a van. Vans are pretty good for not getting hurt sometimes. I've known so many people have been in accidents where any other car, you would be dead. And they're like, oh, that was good.
It was a fairly low-speed pileup.
Well, that's good.
I'll say that. There also used to be more trees here.
Oh, yeah.
Where are we going? If you're not turning here, where are we going?
We're going to Deal Road.
Oh, for fuck.
You wanted to
I thought we were going there.
No, we could go there, but
Deal. All right,
we wanted to go to the big Target. We're going to a good Target, a big one that you haven't been to, and
I've been there.
Well, you have, but not anytime recently.
This is why I've been confused about which turns you're making or not making.
Well, yeah, you're probably wondering why I went 2 towns past where you thought we were going.
Yes.
Yeah, no.
But also this.
But we can hit that on the way back. Yeah, they're knocking it all down, and then see, coming soon, Casey's. So there's gonna be a Casey's market here. They're gonna put a supermarket here. What?
Or is that? What's that sign?
What sign? It's a Target sign.
Okay. No, it's facing the other way. I think it's. Never mind.
Oh, I should have just gone, but I thought this guy was gonna.
I think the wind is making that sign face. Never mind. Yeah, there's a Red Robin, isn't there?
Over there, I think, if it's still there. Yeah. So we have just arrived at Target. We are parking now. So we're going to go inside and see if we see anything fun.
Is there anything that you're looking for?
I'm just looking for anything right now. I don't think Target has the gold label Catwoman or the gold label McFarlane Designer Wonder Woman I'm looking for. And those are the ones I would like. I believe they are both Walmart. That's the only places I've seen them pop up on Facebook at least. But yeah. And I know I wanted to show you the NECA stuff, and we're looking for Gargoyles. I know we're looking for that. Bronx from Gargoyles, or just anything that's not Goliath or Thialog, which doesn't make sense because it's not completely backwards, only whatever. So yeah, we're gonna cut right here. We'll switch to some indoor footage a little bit, and then we'll come back once we're back in the car. See you then. Man, so right off the bat, here's 2 gold label McFarlane Avatar figures. That's pretty cool. Just a bunch of things pretty much haphazardly strewn about.
I like the skull with this Phantom, but I don't like the stripy underpants.
Yeah, those are kind of funky. So here's that. Here's our toy aisle. We got a bunch of McFarlanes here. Not too many. There's still Batman from Earth 11, Armored Batman, Bruce Wayne, Clearance, Speed Force Flash, Motorcycle, 2-pack. A couple wrestlers. All right, so we got done at Target, and then we ate some food, stopped off at Red Robin, and now we are off to the comic book store to go see Rick from Shock and Awe Toys, the Berg. Let's go. So what should we talk about?
You watch anything recent?
The Batman.
So no.
That's pretty much it. Yeah, shows I still have.
Still no Spider-Man?
Still haven't seen Spider-Man. Nope. I haven't watched this season of Superman Lois yet.
I think we're 5 episodes behind, but I also think I'm just done with CW.
Really?
I don't
Are you
care.
not like...
I don't care about anything that's on that
Is
channel.
this season
I don't think.
not as good as the first?
It was never good.
All right, compared to the other CW shows, it was pretty good. It was a noticeable step up from all of the other shows.
Only in the
It still wasn't
cinematography,
great.
mostly in the first episode.
It still just always felt to me like that was the show that was clearly getting the focus now, and that all the other shows were just like goofy camp fests.
I don't know. It's been long enough that I haven't watched any of it that I can't even remember my complaints or issues, but it was dumb. Just top to bottom dumb.
I read some of the recaps about each episode, and just they got this stuff with Jonathan Kent, and I'm like, oh, so now he's like got powers, but in Bizarro World or something, but he's like their version of the 90s Superboy, but he's also bad. Like, I'm like, what are you trying to do here?
Does it have characters you like?
It has characters that are based on characters I like from the comics.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, in the first season, okay, I liked the kids. I thought they were good.
Kids were okay.
I don't hate this Lois. She's not my favorite Lois, but I like her far and above better than Terry Hatcher and Margot Kidder. Oof, worst Lois ever. The way you feel about Christopher Reeve as Superman, or in general, is the way I feel about Margot Kidder as Lois. Like, I don't...
So Superman and Lois is fine, except I don't think most Loises act like an award-winning reporter.
How does an award-winning reporter act, though?
All of the characters do dumb shit just to drive a serial plot.
Well, I think that's where a lot of the problems that you especially, but also me in part, have with how they tell the story on these shows in general, which is that they never try to tell a good story, they're just trying to make more episodes.
Yes.
And they're more worried about making a certain amount of episodes that cover a certain amount of minutes than they are about making a story that flows correctly as it should and works correctly. And that is why you get stories that are either wrapped up in like 5 minutes after they've gone a whole season and deserve a huge finale and they get none. Or you get other things like that last a whole season that should have maybe been a side plot in one episode. It's like, why? It ends up turning into, Carol's daughter in Walking Dead season 2. Like, why did they spend a whole season when she was 10 feet away in the goddamn barn the whole time? In the one place no one ever bothered to look, where we can hear zombies are inside. Like, So I mentioned to the followers and the creepers and all the Void City citizens of Void City, I guess we should call them.
Huh. Yeah.
The VCU, the Void City Universe. I'm not going to say that. I hate when they say WWE Universe.
What?
Because none of the people ever say it. They're always like, WWE Universe. They never enunciate, and it makes me so mad.
Why the fuck would they?
Because that's what the fans are called in WWE when they address the audience. That's called the WWE Universe.
Why? Who the fuck made that
Vince
decision?
McMahon comes up with he has a whole list of vocabulary that you're not allowed to say and ones that you have to say when referring to certain things.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah. Yes. He is like the worst thing going for that company, and the sooner has nothing to do with it, I think the more likely we would see it come back to when we used to like it.
But then isn't one of the kids going to take over and it's going to be just as fucking stupid?
The main program has just been awful for years and years now. Thank God for AEW, which shows actual wrestlers wrestling. I don't know. Vince, he's perpetually stuck in the 80s, wanting to do stuff he did in the 90s that no one wants to see anymore. Oh, but yeah. So, as I mentioned to the Void City universe, we both saw the Batman finally. We had talked about those figures. We both have seen the movie now. I loved it. As I mentioned, I think recently. Toast.
I liked it.
Indeed. So there's our review of that movie.
I liked it.
Yes, it was all right. No. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I dare say the only part I really didn't like was literally like at the very last scene of the movie almost.
Yeah.
And that was the part with the Joker. I don't like the design or the backstory they've come up with for that character.
I don't care about either of those things. That scene is just terrible.
That scene felt the most like old school comic book movie ending scenes. Like, oh, we got to set up, oh, they're conniving and planning for the people. Like, of course they are. We know this already. You don't have to show them just talking it out. Like, why would anyone let them talk to each other in the first place?
Right.
Why the fuck could they just sit there? Like, we don't let the crazy inmates plan shit with each other.
You had a good movie and you fucked it up right at the end.
No, it was still good. I can ignore that one little part. Like, I get why they did it. They had to have, they had to get some kind of a hook. So many movies feel like they have to do that now. There has to be some kind of a hook. Just like, let's throw Darth Maul in at the end of Solo, a mediocre ass movie that really wasn't actually that bad, but it wasn't that good either. Like, nothing was great about it. It was another movie, I think, to me, that suffered maybe from the same thing that the Joker suffered from, which was trying to force it to be a character it didn't need to be. That story could have just been a sci-fi story set in a space sci-fi universe somewhere. It could have been a Star Wars story. It didn't have to have anything to do with Han Solo or Chewbacca or Darth Maul or anything we've ever heard of before. And I think it would have been an awesome, entertaining sci-fi movie. But you had to shoehorn certain Star Wars references in, which then force your plot to have to work a certain way, and
If you take Star Wars out of Solo, you still have a shitty movie.
See, I didn't think it was that bad. It was just
The mistake of Solo is killing Dandy Newton too soon.
Well, yeah. Well, that's always going to be a mistake if it happens. You never do that. No, that's just ridiculous. She's fantastic.
She is.
Watch Westworld if you don't. No, like... I mean, yeah, was it just kind of like a generic caper movie? Sure. But it was in a cool sci-fi. It was an entertaining movie. It was a good popcorn movie.
The train was cool.
Like, movies don't have to all be Oscar-winning thought-provokers. They can just be like, I want to be dumb for an hour and a half and not have to think about work or something like that. Like,
a lot of movies are that.
Yeah. But there's a lot of worse movies than Solo. I just think it was a decent sci-fi movie. It was not a good Star Wars movie.
Most of them are not good Star Wars movies.
This is also true. Here come the angry comments. Most Star Wars movies are terrible. I think my favorite one is Rogue One, which I think a lot of people hate that one. That's my favorite Star Wars movie.
Well, this truck's here. He hasn't left.
Good. So the Berg is apparently in the building. We have just arrived.
I'm wondering, is there a good Star Wars movie?
Ewoks, Caravan of Courage. No. I don't know, is there? Anyways, let us know. Are there any good Star Wars movies? Maybe we just haven't seen them yet. I don't know. we are about to head on in. We will see you inside that store. And here we are, my favorite place in the world, even though I don't get here enough. Let's take a look at all the cool stuff they've got. So as you can see, there are tons of action figures, a bunch of big Marvel figures here all lined up, tons of things hanging on the walls here. You got McFarlane figures, you got G.I. Joes, Masters of the Universe, Mortal Kombat, anime stuff down there. Oh, you've got everything. There's some older figures on the bottom there, some vintage toys. There's some new NECA Ninja Turtles and Gremlins, some Transformers, new Spawn figures there, all kinds of stuff. Here's your wall of Marvel figures. There's Marvel Legends, Marvel everything, Build-A-Figure parts, all sorts of stuff. Movie figures, everything Marvel pretty much you could ever want probably right here. Huge selection. Here's a big shelf full of McFarlane Toys, DC Multiverse figures, and some older DC figures at the bottom there. Here's a pretty huge selection of them. He's got a lot of figures. Here's some Pez dispensers. Here's a couple more knickknacks, keychains, some McFarlane Curse of the White Knight Cycle. There's the man himself finally appearing on the channel for the first time. We talk about you constantly.
Sir, can I help you, sir?
No. Yes, actually I'm going to buy some books today. But this is Berg, Shock and Awe Toy Reviews.
Can't wait to have to hear you dub over the air conditioning.
So we came all the way here to bring the Berg his awesome shadow box, and it broke.
It shifted on the way here,
It shifted.
and I want to secure it.
I see.
I touched it with my hands.
He touched it with his hands, folks. This is why Berg can't have nice things.
It's true.
It doesn't make my build skills sound good.
This is how we learn, though. I mean, you just say it was so you could customize it. You wanted to make sure he liked the placement of the tree first.
Needs more foam.
There's some hot glue. Something.
I love it.
Cool. Well, the Berg.
Proudly displayed it above the Shock and Awe Studios.
Oh. All right, so we are done at the comic book store. That was Berg from Shock and Awe. You're gonna do some more work.
We spent some money.
Oh yeah, we bought some stuff. Yep. I got 2 graphic novels. I got Dark Knights Metal and Death Metal, so I can finally really dive into those all in one place at the same time. And I got another figure for customization, so I'm not going to say which one. And you got a figure for customization. Do you want to say which one? Do you care?
It's gonna be a minor repaint of the movie Batman figure.
Sweet. So we get 2 different customs of that one. Heck yeah. I'm sure it'll look a lot better than mine because I didn't really do much paint on mine. So I know that's going to blow mine out of the water because you're way better at painting than me.
All self-taught. If I can do it, anybody can.
I'm not very confident with painting. Let's just put it that way. The medium of paints always frightened me.
I left a comment this morning about being inconfident to not even list the customs that I'm working on because I don't want it known. You will only see the successes.
That's why I only put up ones I had pretty much started already and were basically nearing completion for the most part.
But
although I did mention a couple.
I did write a list, and it's a longer list than I expected.
I know, I was very happy to see that list.
I gotta get to work.
Well, it just means we'll have a lot of videos for you guys for many years to come, hopefully.
Someday.
But right now we are going to head to another Target, I do believe.
Target or Walmart?
Walmart's a kind of a place you only go if you really have to go to it, I kind of feel like.
I have worked at a Walmart, and
ooh, so you have extra reason to not need to go back.
I didn't like Walmart to begin with. I worked there. Opinion did not improve.
Eesh.
And then I had to work for suppliers to Walmart, and then it really declined.
I guess we should preface that by saying that was, what, 20 years ago?
I've worked for multiple suppliers to Walmart. Cookies and birds. But
and
when I
was
worked
a lot
there,
more recently.
When I worked there, it was 20 plus years ago.
Yeah. I was going to say, that's before I worked at Blockbuster.
It was 99, 98?
Okay, yeah.
I think it was the winter of 90, because I worked there during Christmas. in the toy
So
section.
it was like right after you got out of high school then. And then right when I went into high school.
Yeah, I started college 3 weeks after I graduated high school.
Oof.
And I wound up working at Walmart during Christmas in toys.
Ouch.
It was unpleasant.
I have shopped in toys at Walmart during Christmas, during a pandemic.
So,
There's nothing there.
right. And
then
I
it
got
stays that
yelled
way.
at for my department looking like trash, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, what are you gonna do? I mean,
you
it's-
put one employee here.
Yeah. And it's literally the department everyone in the store goes to shoplift also, I feel like.
Well, there's that.
Because, man, we go to our Walmarts now, two main Walmarts I go to, and it is nothing but just ripped open boxes of things on the shelves. Like, if they get anything that involves having Pokemon cards in it, for example, that stuff's getting ripped open. It's nuts. Oh, you couldn't let this guy through. Come on, people. Thank you. Oh, the road rage was going to come out, guys. You're going to hear it.
You think that's road rage?
No, I said
Okay.
it was a shade of it was attempting to want to start to come through, and I was recognizing it, which is why I was trying to vocalize not bad things.
I'm like, oh, that's cute.
Oh.
I was saying Force Awakens might be the one good Star Wars movie.
Oh yeah, we were talking about Star Wars, weren't we? Yeah, let's go back to that. Good Star Wars movies. We asked you, let us know which ones you think are the good ones, if there are any that you think are good.
In my head, Empire is good, but I haven't seen it in probably 30 years.
I still like Empire. I think
So my memory cannot be trusted.
the first one, A New Hope, is kind of the boring one.
Oh, for
now,
sure.
if you watch it nowadays. So you say Force Awakens?
Might be the good one. Because Force Awakens introduces new characters before ruining them in two
By
additional
turning
movies.
them into just reskinned older characters.
Or killing them, like
Or-
Phasma.
Yeah.
Phasma
Just for
deserved
no
better.
reason.
Oh, and not developed characters.
Duh.
So you introduce new characters and
Or
then,
partially developed characters
Yes.
whose stories just suddenly stop, and then we're all, including them, supposed to pretend like they were never there to begin with. Like Finn and the Force. Like Finn and Rey. Like Finn and any part of Finn's story besides, hey, my name is Finn and I have a jacket that I took from this other guy.
yeah.
And we're best friends now because I took his jacket.
Poe only gets developed in the third movie
Ugh,
as a character.
yeah. He's an X-Wing in the first two movies. Yeah, Star Wars. I think I like some Star Wars comics and novels that don't exist in continuity anymore. Best of all, like Dark Empire, those two comics from Dark Horse Comics back in the day. I loved those. One of the main reasons I loved those is because Boba Fett was still Boba Fett in those. Yes, he still escaped from the Sarlacc, but then he went right back to being Boba Fett. Unlike in this new show, which I refuse to watch, because I'm sorry, that sad old man who wants to be a good guy now, no, that's not Boba Fett. Here's Boba Fett. Let's watch him sit in a dark room and do nothing. Cool. That's just why I wanted him to crawl out of a giant desert butthole. I haven't seen Shang-Chi yet.
Watchable is a word for Falcon and Winter Soldier. It is
We are
entirely watchable.
Yes.
I hate everything related to the blip. So what do you have?
Yeah.
An entire geopolitical global event related to something I hate? I don't care.
Yeah.
It's an interesting development that will never be talked about again.
I think they kind of have painted themselves into a little bit of a corner because it's like they have to keep mentioning this thing that they clearly want to be done and over with and past.
Oh,
And
yes.
Yet
Yes.
you can't ignore the fact that you can't even suspend the disbelief long enough to just think like, oh no, everything, it's just back to normal.
I feel like that's a Sunny level writing decision that was made.
Yeah, just, oh, well, it's just done, whatever.
we'll figure it out later. And
Yeah.
like, no, this has lasting consequences.
Like for
Goddamn blip.
the entire rest of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it should.
Yes, the entire universe. Because
Yes.
they fucked up the entire fucking universe.
Yeah. But I just mean like for the MCU in this form, as long as this timeline continues, like this should, and it's on Earth, like it should be a problem, or at least it's gonna be something that gets brought up, and that's gonna be like it has to, but that's also like, Jesus, do we have to keep coming back? Like I don't know. It's tough because yeah, for writing aspect, you kind of need to acknowledge that there's fallout from this that's gonna last a long damn time.
What Captain Marvel 2 should be is aliens being mad and coming to Earth to fuck us up. It's probably not what it's gonna be. It's what it should be.
But it's like, yeah, I don't know.
I guess that could be Guardians 3.
But then that
I
would
hope
literally
for
just be
something
the
better.
entire rest of the MCU forever. It's like, oh, here's now this planet got here, and oh, now this one got here. Like, oh.
Well, that's their poor planning.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's their own damn fault.
Like maybe they could have written a way out of it better to where like, I don't know, I don't even think they could have. That was a pretty big corner they wrote themselves into. And I feel like that's just how they explain it. It was like, oh, well, magic. And get over it. It happened.
It's magic and Tony Stark's an asshole, and we're just okay with that.
And Tony Stark caused every bad thing that ever happened in the MCU up until 3 or 4 movies after he died in the MCU.
Doctor Strange allowed it,
He did.
and Chris Pratt is to blame.
Here's a fun debate people should have. Let's ask these in the comments. Thanos or Thanos? Falcone or Falcone? Ra's al Ghul or Ra's al Ghul?
Never Raish.
Never Ra's?
Never Raish.
Oh, don't tell Kevin Conroy.
There's only one H, and it's at the end, not in the beginning.
We're at Target. Let's go see what's inside this Target.
So here we are inside the store, taking a look at the shelves, starting out with all the anime, Dragon Ball, Gundam, My Hero Academia, Naruto, Godzilla versus Kong stuff. A lot of that's shown up lately. It's kind of strange. Here's some Witcher figures, some Spawn figures, finally Soul Crusher at the shelf. Here's some Batman 66 stuff, a ton of Funko Pops that don't go anywhere, and a bunch of NECA stuff piled on the floor that also does not move at this Target, and a sad video game corner. And here we are in the toy aisle now. Here's the action figures, the McFarlanes, and oh, what is this right here? That's a blue armored Batman? Oh wow, at Target. Don't mind if I do. First time I've seen one of those here. There's the Batman motorcycle, the 2-pack with the other blue armored Batman. Clayface, some other stuff. Here's some Marvel Legends stuff, some new Thor, new Doctor Strange, Spider-Man, a lot of that stuff here still. Just kind of not too much though.
So that was Target. Found a surprise blue armored Batman from the Dark Knight Returns, so figured I'll just get an extra one of those. That's good times. Didn't really find anything else. No gargoyles today.
Just Thalog.
Yeah, just Thalog. Yeah, nothing else. So, still a fun trip though. We got to go visit the Berg.
I got to not work for half a day.
Yeah, there you go. You got a half day off. Got to have another fun field trip.
Every day that I'm not working is a win.
So where did we leave off?
Well, we skipped an entire Gotham Knights conversation.
Gotham Knights. Yes, we did. We talked about that in the store. Let's recap that a little bit. So they revealed some stuff about that game. We just saw the Red Hood figure from that game on the shelf, and that reminded me about some stuff we just learned about Red Hood from the new game coming out, Gotham Knights. And that is that he is apparently magic in this game, because they couldn't think of any better way to have him traverse around the levels that would help him keep up with the other characters who can glide on capes or have grapple guns or things of that nature. And I guess they just forgot the whole part where Red Hood actually had wings on the sides of his arms and he could fly with them, or glide at least for short distances. He could traverse with those. And that he used to be a Robin, so he has acrobatic traversal skills, and he would also be able to use a grapple It just seems kind of ridiculous to me now that they would make that humongous change to the character who has never had magical abilities to double jump off of thin air indefinitely multiple times using his soul energy.
Oh.
Yeah, he's using his soul energy. So I'm guessing that's how they'll make a meter that'll have to recharge somehow to, his soul is like spawn or something, where it can run out, except it'll never actually run out, even when it does.
He better be able to do something else with that power. Because if you have something called soul energy and the best goddamn thing you can think to do with it
Is double jump.
Double jump?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck yourself.
Because every other part of the trailer is just him shooting people with his non-lethal bullets, which people had a bunch of problems with that too. I don't have a problem with that. Their guns, I mean, every one of those games, like anyone who's played any of the other Arkham games, if you're trying to tell me that Batman doesn't kill 95% of the people that you get in fights with in that game, those brutal takedowns, those people are crippled for life at the very least, if not just flat out brain dead or completely dead. And people have a problem with non-lethal bullets. Like, you can just go to hell with that complaint. That's just dumb at this point. At least he gets to have guns, unlike the action figure, which has none.
Maybe he's got magic bullets.
He has finger guns. So maybe in the game, if you lose your guns, you'll get to shoot soul energy out of your fingers, and maybe it wasn't a joke by McFarlane Toys, and he actually has finger guns. I'm actually worried about that now. So, yeah. So that was, especially the footage they released, this double jump, it doesn't even look good. It's the most awkward thing, and it's almost like the physical, visual embodiment of we had no clue what to do, and this is what that confusion looks like made into visual. It just looks so awkward and dumb. Like, he just literally just double jumps indefinitely off of a glowing puddle that appears under his feet in midair and then spreads out and disappears. And then when you're ready to land, you just fall until you land. And it just looks stupid.
Well, I'm never going to play it.
So dumb. And by comparison, it makes the literal Fortnite glider that Nightwing gets around with look fantastic. And I'm like, Nightwing has a goddamn grapple gun. Why does he need a stupid Fortnite glider that comes out of nowhere and apparently always follows him around? Like, what? It makes me feel like they're trying to make this game, like they're trying everything they can to make it different from the Arkham games, even though that's what people wanted more of, kind of, was more Arkham games, which was more people.
I would have played another Arkham game. I'm not going to play Gotham Knights.
I'll play the Suicide Squad one. That looks fun.
Well, for now.
To kill the Justice League. Until they tell me Harley Quinn has, like, magic or something.
Looks good for now.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm sure I'll try out Arkham Knights, especially if it's discounted or free. I like Batman games, especially if they have multiplayer. Not enough of them do, and they should. One of our favorite old games was at The Rise of Sin Tzu. Is that how you say that? That old animated series-based game.
Did I ever play that?
We played the shit out of that game when we lived together.
Was that me?
Yes, it was you. We played it. It was a PlayStation 2 game. And it was based on Batman, the animated series. It was called like The Rise of Sin Tzu. So I'm sure I'm probably saying that all kinds of wrong. And you could play as Batman, Robin, Batgirl, or Nightwing. Or all four of them if you had enough controllers. And we always teamed up and we played that game. We could always get to like a certain level before it just got so arcade game, we want your quarters hard, even though this was never actually an arcade game, that we both just gave up on it. Because it was another one of those ones where it also didn't really have a save. So whenever we wanted to come back to it, we had to start it over again every time. And it just got not worth it to smash our way through so many bad guys to never ever get farther.
I maybe delete mental files.
Whereas I remember so many stupid things, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, that's, I think, the underlying problem, is you've referenced a lot of times when we worked together today, and I'm like, fuck, I don't remember that guy's name.
And you worked there twice as long as I did.
It's true. It's true.
Oh, man.
Yeah. I deleted 7 years worth of work.
Given how frustrating our last job was, at times. At this point in time, it's not anything that needed to be saved necessarily. Although it was fun having the hour-long lunch break and getting to do that every day. And
Yeah, it was good.
back when we were working a little bit more with the Void stuff and talking about comics, we got to go to the comic shop every Wednesday, so that was always fun. It was very close proximity, so that could be our lunch break, get new comics. Well, that was a fun and interesting adventure today. I feel like we ironed out some of the issues from the first episode, but then we didn't really, other than a couple things we got at the comic store, we didn't really find any of the stuff we were looking for at any of the places we went other than the comic store.
I don't really know. So there's, you own most of what you're looking for already.
Yeah.
And the thing that you bought at Target, you already own.
Yes, I do.
I'm not really looking for anything. I would like to look at Marvel Legends Gore before I buy him, because I haven't fully decided.
Yeah.
I got Valkyrie and Mighty Thor off Amazon.
Are you gonna get regular Thor, or do you already have a Thor?
I have,
that you
I
like?
think, enough Thors as it is.
You don't like that new red and blue and yellow and gold or whatever armor?
No.
It's very colorful.
It is very
colorful. It's quite bright. It's like he's wearing an Optimus Prime Halloween costume.
If I were to own that, I would repaint it to be less colorful.
Yeah.
But no, I don't. I think Ravager looks great. I just don't care to own Ravager Thor.
Yeah.
So that's the Marvel Legends that should be hitting roughly now. Doctor Strange Wave came out a couple of months ago, and I think so. Before that disappeared from Target, I think they were clearancing out America and Wong. Those seem to be the peg warmers.
Yeah. So they're already getting clearance. I just started to see those show up places.
Maybe they hadn't seen the movie yet. America should be a major character.
You would think.
I mostly look for deals. I don't really want to pay a retail price for anything. And it's not even that I'm cheap. I have money. It's just I don't really want these things. And this is really my problem. So I'm going to spell it out. But I have a hard time passing up on deals. But yeah, it's deals. I have a hard time passing up deals.
Yeah.
So if I just don't go to the store, it's better.
But yeah, that was our fun trip. Went to some Targets, to the comic book store. So whenever Toast is talking about, I get my comics at a local comic book store. If you don't know where yours is, you can find it on this website. That's the comic book store he's talking about. So now you guys have seen it.
So the thing John liked most about the first road trip was your purchase after summary report.
Let's take a look while we're still right here.
I bought one thing.
What did you get?
So I got movie Batman. And I didn't want to buy him online somewhere because I didn't want the messed up cowl / unmasked whatever hunk of plastic.
Yeah, the extra cowl on his back that he shouldn't technically have because that's not how the cowl in the movie worked, but whatever. When I was at Target, I found another, as I showed before, the blue armored Dark Knight. I kind of like this one. I like it in the blue. And there is a lot of potential for customization with these body parts and with the armored pieces. I've seen a lot of people make some cool figures with different pieces of this, so just having it for some extra parts, sometimes I like to have those, but other times you never know if someone is online and has a figure you want and they're looking for one that you have an extra of, and it's a rare one that's harder to find, like this. Who knows, I might have a potential trade on my hands one day.
Oh no, I took the tape off.
Oh no, the tape is off and he's opening the box. No.
The resale values. I don't care.
Not even out of the car. Yeah, we're triggering some of our Facebook group people that we follow, I guess.
I find it weird how many people take pictures of their purchases in the car.
Yeah, like they can't even get home. They're just like right in front of the steering wheel.
I'm
Well,
in-
we're doing that right now.
I'm in these
So-
groups. Yeah, but like, I wouldn't be doing this. Like, you're filming.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting to switch cars.
Oh. Whatever. You just told me John liked this, so we're gonna do it.
Yep.
Because John likes it.
And John watches.
Yes, he's the one person besides the Berg. Got another penguin from the movie, the Batman. Gonna do some customizing on that guy. He's not gonna end up as the penguin. I'm not gonna say who he's gonna end up as yet because we'll see if it works first. I also got metal and death metal, so I can finally catch up on and read all those fully through, all in one sitting, all in one go, and have them together so that if we talk about these figures again in the future, I'll know what the hell I'm talking about and won't have to put in research that I do after the fact like we did with Zur-En-Arrh. So yeah, he's already got this thing almost completely open. Alrighty. Well, I think with that, we're probably gonna get ready to sign off here. Thank you for joining us today on that interesting little road trip. We hope the audio worked the whole time. Sorry about the few hiccups when my phone camera, video here, whatever, almost exploded at the beginning because of the immense heat we are going through right now. And I guess, I don't know, other than that, I am Dan.
I'm Toast.
That's Toast, and thank you for watching Void City Reviews. Thank you for watching our road trips, and we will see you next time. Remember, leave those comments. We asked a bunch of questions in this video. Let us know what you think of all those things. And don't hate us too much for the Star Wars stuff, because you guys know it's true. I'll take it.